And here we are, the final part of the Evil Within commentary. Uh, this won't be too long. It's only like a little over 7 minutes, and we're just finishing off Evie. Or I'm trying to get to her to. And right now it's like a hallucination, which I've said before. It's like I guess it was too extreme back in the early to mid 2000s when they were wanting supernatural stuff when they were working on Resident Evil 4, which I think that'd be a cool idea. They should revisit all the unused ideas for the Resident Evil 4 remake. But I guess it wasn't too much now because apparently that's an hallucination of Evie. And when you get to her, if you paid attention through the game, here you go. That old lady in that wheelchair, that was Evie. That's another thing that could have been interesting to explore, that she had no normal life. She's not even just like a experiment. She's not only just an experiment, it's kind of like a tragedy. It wouldn't have been on the level of Lisa Trevor, but it probably would have been the second biggest tragedy of the franchise for a character. And again, that would add more to it if they did had a if they had made this into like a Resident Evil Revelations game involving Jill, and then have a whole side story with Chris as well going on. So you had two different stories going on. It's amazing he isn't injured. Uh, he doesn't. He doesn't have any major injuries. Ethan. And I don't know if I'm what I'm doing. If I'm just doing this correctly. Yeah, you gotta love it how yeah, I'm just getting my butt handed to me because Ethan can't reload slower than stink off the shit. Ever loving Rebecca Chambers could have reloaded, like I've said before, and she was all of 98 or 100 pounds, or 100, maybe 110 pounds. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. It's like shouldn't his. I'm just bringing all this up. Shouldn't his neck be broken, and or maybe a disc cracked, or neck broke, neck uh, or his neck should be broke. I'm just bringing that up because everybody was saying how unrealistic it is, and Resident Evil 6 was. I'm like, it is supposed to be unrealistic. It's a horror game. None of them were realistic. How unrealistic Part 6 was, I'm like, none of them were realistic. But I got that new gun, this Albert series model handgun. That took care of that finished it off. And basically everybody, all the bad guys are dead except for Lucas, but that's what which I may just upload well the not a hero, since I actually enjoyed it this time around. But here's the biggest thing, like Okay. Chris must have got plastic surgery. I'm Redfield, and you. It's like it's like Chris in the last part in the previous game had an ever loving widow's peak where he was losing because he was older. He was kind of his hair was kind of thinning in part 6, and he was Andy. I mean, Andy looked like he was at least 41, 42 years old. And Chris would have been, he'd been about 44, 45. He doesn't look it. He looks like he looks like somewhat like he did in Resident Evil 1 and in Resident Evil Code Veronica. And then, yes, but enough of that. I thought this was a pretty good game. The exploration was decent. The, the item management, they did very well. It wasn't so overall. I just thought it was a good game. I liked, and then I also threw a little bit of something in to make this presentation that I recognize that it takes place in the Resident Evil universe, that I don't accept as a sequel, but just to say it takes place in the universe. I did this here. Yeah. So yeah, I did enjoy the game. Exploration was decent. The item management was good. They did every. I mean, there was just a few things I didn't care for, but overall, it's a pretty good game on its own.